Hello YouTube, PinkPWNAGE here, and we have some really exciting information for you today. You have been using the SMGs wrong, or you're most likely using the SMGs wrong as of this latest patch because the math has changed and different than I thought actually. So if you don't know, we have the actual raw data for all the guns in the game now. The rate of fires, the damage drop-offs, all that good stuff, right? And the really cool thing is we're able to do these kinds of videos with it now. And so the cool thing is someone apparently hacked the data from the server. I don't know how that works. And then they gave it to us. Scanter was nice enough to give this information to me even before the guy put it public on Facebook, but it's all there on Facebook anyways. And so anyways, we're gonna get right into it. This is the tier list for this current meta, right? And this is probably going to change as of my video that I just put out yesterday on YouTube, or at least yesterday as of recording this live session on Twitch here, okay? And you'll note that the MP5 is in the A tier and the UMP is also in the A tier, but it's over here. And then you note the P90 is at C tier here, all right? But now that we have the actual data that I was able to put in some nice graphs for you all, here is the time to kills. Now we are going to go through the time to kills from how it changed for each of these weapons in this latest patch, okay? So you see here you got the Uzis, the P90, the UMP, and the MP5. This is the time to kill for the body shots only, okay? We're not considering headshots yet. The orange line is the latest patch. So the orange line or the orange bar is currently what you have as of today playing this game, and the blue line was pre-patch, right? So the Uzis didn't get any change, so there they are at a 0.55 body second time to kill. That doesn't sound damn right. That doesn't sound damn right at all. Is that right? Holy crap, that's right. Oh my god. Yeah, so wait, Uzi body shot 14 26. Wow, that's amazing. And so this is the math, everyone, if you are aware. Just so I'm not going to walk through this math, but just to show you that I have it, it's here, right? So wow, the body shots for the Uzis are 0.55 seconds, assuming you don't miss a shot, which is really great, right? But nothing changed for that, and we knew that already, but it's just still amazing to see. But the P90 got a buff in terms of the body damage time to kill of 0.67 now versus the 0.7 before. The UMP got a 0.02 second buff to the time to kill for body shots, and an MP5 took a nerf to the body shot time to kill of a 0.05 increase, so it got slower, right? And so you see that with the nice arrows here. Now I'll quickly go over back to the math page to show you kind of what happened here. Well, the reason for that is the rate of fire actually got nerfed from the MP5 from 14 shots per second to 13 shots per second, which is what you see here, 13 to 14. And then the UMP got a buff to 14 rate of fire from 13. I actually thought, and in the last tier list, I thought the rate of fire was the same. I just had to guess because I didn't have these numbers as of a day ago. And so the rate of fire is actually faster for the UMP now. I can't believe it, honestly, but now that I know and I went in game and I shot it, I was like, okay, I think I can see it. So that's the change there that was really kind of interesting. And then the UMP, however, actually got a damage nerf to make up for this fire rate, okay? So really interesting. And so now here we are with this information here. And so you see the headshot is now 33 damage for the MP5. The P90 took an increase in damage from 20, and that's why we're seeing all this beautiful stuff on this chart. On this slide, you are now seeing the body shot time to kill just for the latest patch, which is just cleaner for you to visualize and see and take a screenshot of. Now, very quickly, obviously, you'll see that the best time to kill is the Uzi, followed by the P90, then the MP5, followed closely by the UMP, right? Now, let's interpret this just a little bit. Obviously, the Uzis had the best body shot time to kill. That's, of course, if you don't miss a bullet. Once you start missing shots, which is very easy to do with the Uzis, the math changes substantially. What's really interesting about the P90 is that the body shot time to kill is actually really, second fast, which is only as of this latest patch, which is really cool. And then the UMP is substantially slower in the body shot time to kill. 0.05 is actually meaningful in the close range time to kill. And then the MP5 is 0.7. Now, these are all still really fast time to kills. A sub 1 second time to kill is still really fast, right? Now, the interesting thing is, if you just take this and you go, okay, I'm going to start using the P90 now, like in my close range fights, that's not what this graph is trying to tell you. Okay, now this is obviously at closest range for these weapons as that they do the most damage in, and this is assuming you hit all your shots, right? Well, what's the problem with the P90? The P90 has a random recoil, and usually you're shooting head peekers in the close range, and it's not easy to hit your shots after the first 2 seconds with the P90, so you're missing shots most definitely. And this is assuming, of course, 0 headshots. But what is the real situation here in game? You're always hitting headshots, at least a couple, right, in a fight, usually, if not more than that. And so this is just picture perfect theoretical body shot time to kill. It's good to know, but I don't think you should take this and roll with it and use this, in terms of how to pick up your weapon and use it in game. On this slide, you have the headshot time to kills. You have the P90, which didn't change. You have the UMP, which got a buff from what was 0.62, that's the blue bar, to a 0.57, a change of 0.05 seconds for the UMP, and the MP5 got a nerf of 0.02 seconds. Now you'll note that the headshot change was not really much for the MP5, but the UMP got a pretty substantial buff. 0.05 seconds in the close range is actually pretty meaningful, right? Now, when you look at this slide, it's really important to note that you got to take this kind of with a grain of salt because it's how you use it as well, right? The MP5, if you can't hit headshots, right, this is not meaningful. But if you can hit the headshots, the MP5 is going to have the fastest time to kill, and this is one of the fastest time to kills for all weapons in the game, if you can hit headshots, right? And you're in the closest effective range, of course, for this weapon. Now, the P90, it's really hard to hit headshots because of the random recoil after the first 2 seconds, which means there is an uncontrollable recoil pattern, and the UMP doesn't have a scope, so it's kind of hard a little bit to hit really reliable headshots at kind of the back end of the effective range for the close range for that weapon. And so, take that into consideration for this. But know that the UMP has really got a solid time to kill now with headshots. And so it's really interesting how this is shaken up. The UMP really is now a solid, reliable weapon for time to kill. This data you're seeing here is the time to kill for the body and the headshots averaged together, okay? Because in a realistic fight, you hit a few headshots when you kill someone. You need approximately 7, 8, 9, 10, shots to kill someone, and you get a few headshots in between. So I figured the best case is to average this data together, and this will probably give you a nice, snapshot. You only have to memorize one thing to kind of get what has the fastest time to kill overall. And here you see it. You have the MP5 with a 0.58 second time to kill. You have the UMP followed by a close second with a 0.66 time to kill. And then you have the P90 with a 0.62 time to kill. So if you're just thinking of time to kills and kind of a one snapshot, this is that screenshot to take, all right? Now, time to kills are not everything, all right? And this is where we're going to talk for a little bit, and it's very important for you to listen. The MP5 on paper here has the fastest time to kill, surely, but you have to be able to use it. You have to be able to control the recoil. You have to hit your shots on a head peeker while you're head peeking, because that's the close range fight nowadays. And if you're not playing that way, that's how you should be playing with these SMGs. You should be peeking in the close range, close to midish range, and close range with your SMG while you're shooting another head peeker, because the DT11 is so dangerous these days. You cannot ground walk in a close fight. You will die, and you cannot be too close. So you have to have great aim with these weapons, okay? So if you cannot control the recoil with the MP5 well, use the UMP, and you're still going to have a very respectable time to kill. You should try to get the headshots, because as we noted, the headshot time to kill is meaningful for the UMP, but it's not as important for the MP5. So if I were to tell you, if you were to ask me, okay, I'm not really hitting headshots because I'm just happy to get body shots, I would just tell you, use the UMP. You don't have to train with the MP5. But if you are a serious player at this game, like you play competition, or you just play every day, a lot of hours, or a couple hours every day, I would tell you, put the time into mastering the MP5, because you're going to see a bigger payout if you can master it, all right? And the other thing that's not on here is the obvious effective ranges for these weapons. The UMP has a longer effective range in terms of getting its damage off than the other two. That's kind of its niche. All of these weapons have a closer or narrower effective range, okay? The MP5 has that great damage, but you have to be, pretty close to get that, great damage, of course. Now, the interesting thing that it will not be on these slides, and it's just kind of hard to show you, is that the UMP, because it has that faster rate of fire, if we just look quickly at the data, the rate of fire for the UMP is now 14 shots, right? And the MP5 is now 13, the P90 is 15. It takes 4 shots to break a single build. The faster the rate of fire, the faster the gun melts the build. And that is really why the SMGs are really great in this current meta, is because they melt build. Well, the UMP actually has a faster fire rate than the MP5, so technically the UMP is better at breaking build than the MP5, and that is just kind of earth-shattering to me, because yesterday I had a DT11. I was in a close range fight against a good pub stomper who had a UMP, and I got melted through my build that I was peaking with a DT11, and I was ready for it, and I lost kind of a fair fight, and I was just to myself, I was scratching myself, I said, I lost a point-blank fight against a UMP, and I had my DT11. I knew he was there. He must have shot me, a little bit before I shot, but I was scratching my head like, what the hell just happened there? Because the UMP melted the build so fast, and I died so quick. There must have been headshots. I wasn't able to see what he did, right? I was just completely, dumbfounded. And so, I couldn't even I was peeking my build. He was peeking his build. I wasn't able to get my 3 DT shots that I needed to kill him off with, because 1 shot to break the build, versus him just holding down the trigger, breaking my build that I was holding onto, and melting me. All right. What I'm trying to tell you is that the UMP and all of the SMGs break build so fast in the close range now that, yes, DT11s are overpowered as a standalone gun, but against SMGs in the close range, it's very dangerous, assuming the SMG players knows how to counter the DT11 player. But the UMP melts build now. What the hell? That has never happened in this game before. And so I'm just totally dumbfounded by it still. But the UMP and the MP5 and the P90 are all fantastic at breaking build. But if you had to split hairs, the UMP and the P90 are obviously better for that. Okay. Someone charged me in a competition scrim last night, a best in the world player, with a DT11. He was trying to charge me with build. I had the P90 out. I spammed that build, couldn't charge me in a one-on-one, and I just melted him through the build with the P90, because the P90 has that faster rate of fire, right? I found a niche for the P90, and there it is. Even though it has a slower time to kill, you can't charge a P90 in a one-on-one if the person is good and knows how to spam the build appropriately while peeking against the DT11 player. And so I know these time to kills are shown to you here on paper, but what I really have to tell you is how to play with these weapons. This meta is so interesting, and we're going to have a meta video coming on how to play this meta. And I'm going to show you some stupid clips of me playing last night, me doing stupid shit kind of half intentionally to kind of get some clips to show you. But this meta, you have to play the weapon. All right, you have to play in game according to the weapons you have in hand. So if you have that P90, you know your time to kill isn't as fast as these two. You're going to have to play a little more carefully against these two weapons. But if you have the P90 and you know that person's charging with the DT, for example, you know you're going to win that fight because they can't spam build to charge you, one-on-one that is. So it's like you have to play your gun. You have this certain gun in your hand, you have to know the capabilities of that gun and play in-game accordingly. Not make the gun fit to your playstyle, and now assuming equal skill of your opponent's equal skill, of course, right? But really cool thing. So let's keep this short for the SMGs. The MP5, if you can master it and you have the time to master the aim, the MP5 is going to be the fastest killing gun in the game, right? And it is that MP5, that SMG that I do recommend for myself and the other top competition players who know how to use that fast time to kill appropriately and are hitting like 3 headshots for every fight, that you're in that close range. However, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the population 1 community should probably just be using the UMP now because it breaks builds so fast. It has a really fast time to kill now, and the aim is really intuitive. There is a recoil pattern that is really strange for me personally. I actually aim better with the MP5 than the UMP, but that's just because of time practicing. But it's intuitive and easy to learn the UMP aim. Now the P90, I do not generally recommend the P90 because it's got a really short effective range. Okay, if you're not in the close range, the P90 really does dog water damage. All right, so you have to be pretty close to use it. And the problem is the close range is those head peek fights. It's really hard to aim with the P90 and shoot a head peeker while you're head peeking after the first 2 seconds of firing the weapon, right? It's not impossible, but I'm just saying I wouldn't use the P90 over these other two personally. Still, that being said, I think I was hating on the P90 when I made that meta tier list video a day ago or two a little bit too much. I think the P90 is stronger than what I gave it credit for, but just because of how limited in range it is, I still don't recommend it over the other two, and because of that random recoil, you're gonna miss shots. You are absolutely gonna miss shots unless you are two-handing it and ground walking. But if you're two-handing it and ground walking, you should use you should use many other weapons than the P90. Okay, you should be using if you are using the P90 at mid-range and you are two-handing it and ground walking, you might as well use the M60 for many other reasons. But that's just one example. So that's how you use the SMGs in this meta. The UMP is that all-arounder for head peeking and shooting the head peekers with and breaking build. The MP5 is the high risk, high reward. You spend the time into it, you're going to get more out of it, sort of, if you can use it as such. All right, and with that, we'll end this video. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thank you for watching.